as well. And I can make out who's joining the first time. So I can see that there are more children who've done this before than earlier. You can all put down your hands. Quick show of hands, who's done debates with Ugly before? I mean, who's done this Ideal before or any of the debates with us this year? Quick show of hands on that. Okay, lovely. So we always love to meet new debaters. Now, for the fact that I realize that most of you have attended yesterday's session with Nitiksha ma'am, so what we will do is we'll do a quick iteration because we have a few people who joined in new, and then she's going to spend some tips and tricks session with you. Okay, and I'm going to spend a little time on how you should look into your schedule and how the motion will be shared. Is that all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want complete attentiveness when we are speaking, because I'm going to see who's asking me a repeat question of what I just explained. Okay. So completely concentrate, because this is very important to you all. It's very important that you understand in one go, because the fact is that you all are getting 3 chances to debate, right? So we have to be very focused on what is being explained over here. So all of you who joined us new, we are just going to go over the key points for your reference once. All right. Suana, you can put your fan down there. And all of you who are not needed to be speaking, when I'm not asking a question, you can put yourself on mute. Akshat, Ojas, I need to see your grades, and I'm quite clear about what I'm saying. See, the important part is also when you're debating is how clearly are you able to understand instructions, right? And I know you all can. So can you please be nice to me and quickly put your grade? Ojas, do you know how to put a grade in front of your name?
Yes, ma'am.
It's very important, because in the future you will be putting your state name if you qualify, right? So that's why I'm trying to check on that. Anika, do you know how to rename Raya? That's a very interesting.
Ma'am, actually I have joined from a phone and I don't know how to rename through a phone.
No worries. If you
Yeah,
can't,
ma'am, I'm on a phone right now.
no worries. Whoever cannot do it is not a deterrent at all, but whoever can, please do so. It helps. It's helpful. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is, because we have a few new joinees, we are going to do this as a quick iteration, right? So the first things first is you all can see my slide.
Yes.
You all
Yes,
are competing to represent your state teams, which is so important. So we really congratulate you all to starting this journey earlier. Can somebody put this gentleman on mute? Thank you. Just go on mute, whoever is not speaking. Your senior categories end up competing in international tournaments. So be on this journey. It's great. It's just your building. Right now we are debating, and the format in which you are debating right now is going to be 1:1. Okay. So 1:1 means that you are all going to do your 3-minute speeches. You all see this graph? It's very simple to understand. It's very fun to see. You've got a first speaker who's giving a 3-minute speech on a topic. The second speaker is replying to him. The first, or rather he's doing his first speech. The first participant again is going to give a reply speech. And the second participant is going to be doing a reply speech. Is everybody comfortable with this? Is anybody uncomfortable? Then I want a show of hands. Whoever is uncomfortable, because this training is for you. So please raise your hand if you're uncomfortable, because then Nitiksha ma'am will know that she has to go over this. Or just, I don't want to see no annotations. This is not a fun class. This is a very serious class. Okay. It's not an art class. So don't do that, please. Right. So is everybody comfortable with the format, including the people who joined us new?
Yes, ma'am.
Any show of hands? I want interaction. I want a quick thumbs up that you all are comfortable with this. I'm just going to stop sharing and checking. Do I have a no thumbs up? Because this is the most important thing. We are going to start debating from 17th onwards, okay? Which means that I don't want you coming in saying, ma'am, I didn't know it was a 3-minute speech. It's all right if you do a 1-minute speech, but the opportunity was yours to do another 2 minutes as well, right? So I would like you to all please utilize those 3 minutes. What does a 3-minute speech mean? Do you know what 3-minute speech means? We normally speak at the pace of 1 word per second. Okay, so I'll do a quick maths for you in that sense. It is 180 words to 200 words, right? You don't want to sound like a running train. Okay, there are such speed trains that we are launching right now. So you don't want to speak 300 words. We won't be able to understand it, right? So try to plan your speeches for 180 words. So that is your first speech of 3 minutes. Then you have the opponent who is going to speak. So you have to anticipate what's the point he's going to make. So another 180 words will come in. Okay. So Nitiksha ma'am, I'm going to hand over the session to you another 5-7 minutes. And then you can give them a little bit of how they should plan, right? Yes, Rutvi, are you asking me something?
Yes, ma'am. I was asking that we will only speak first, or the opponent can also speak the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So normally in most speeches, the pro speaker, the person who's speaking for the motion speaks first. Okay. So Advait, just go put yourself on mute, please. So I'm just saying, so I'm going to just show you how you should see your schedule. You will get to know 3 things from there. Which side are you speaking for? What is your time of the match? What is the motion that you're speaking for? So what is the topic that you have to prepare for? But I'm just giving you a tip very practically to say you must plan for 180 words, 180. So approximately 6-7 minutes of speech. But obviously when you're replying to the speaker, you are going to take a little bit of that consideration, but that's the part that Nitiksha ma'am will do in 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. So if you all are comfortable, you all have given me a thumbs and I just want to spend a minute showing you this schedule. Okay. Are you all on the WhatsApp group? You all are comfortable. Your parents are comfortable. You're watching it, right? Because this is the only communication channel that we will use. So please do tell your parents. I know they are busy. I know they are at work, but we would just like to check on that group once in a while, right? So just keep on that group. We are completely very excited to host you all. So we are happy to answer any questions, but just read all the questions. Right? Read all the questions because somebody is asking a question and you're asking the same question, asking the same question. So I like to answer new questions, but it's all right. If you have a doubt, just ask. Okay. If you're all set and we are concentrating, do we all know what an Excel sheet is? Yeah. Can I show you an Excel sheet?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, this is where I am. Now, I want to be Vivan Garg, right? So if I'm Vivan Garg, I'm going to do Control F, which is that I'm going to go search for my name. Okay, I can see he's coming on row number 2. So if I was Vivan, I'm going to search like this, that, okay, where is my match? So shortly what we will do on your WhatsApp group, we are going to just send this link across. So let's assume we are talking about Vivan. I'm taking your example, Vivan. 17th October, he has a match from 4:30 to 4:45. We've made sure that you come back from school. When you come into the Zoom room, you will see a room number, which means that you can see room number 2. We've slotted approximately 15 minutes for the matches, right? 3 minutes, 3 minutes. So 3 to 4, 12, and then 1 minute for coming in, 1 minute for going out. 15-minute slots have been given to you. This is his motion. This house supports the promotion of Make in India through historical symbols like Khadi. Okay, so we are encouraging Khadi and the Vivan is for the topic. Can you see for? Viman is in grade 4. He's speaking for the topic and he's speaking against Jayant, who's against the topic. So Jayant is going to say, listen, I do not support Make in India by using these historical symbols. Okay, so Nitiksha ma'am will take you through how you should think about this. But this is how the schedule looks like. Is this easy to follow?
Ma'am, it hasn't been sent yet, right? It's going to be sent.
Yes, I'm going to send it, but I'm just showing you how to see it because I know that is the first doubt you will have. Now, I did a Control C, Control F, which means that I was trying to check when is Vivan playing, because all of you are going to play for 3 times. Vivan is playing his second match on 18th of October, which means that tomorrow Vivan will get to know what his topic is for the second match as well. Is that okay? Are we comfortable? So,
Ma'am, the motions for the 18th will come in tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like a living Excel sheet, okay? You will be able to go and see, oh, new things have got populated over here. Got it?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
obviously right now we've just populated the matches only till the 17th. 18th will get loaded. Similarly, 19th will get loaded, right? So we're trying to finish the 3 matches in the 3 days.
So, ma'am, is it possible that I don't play, that I don't have a match on the 17th? Or will everybody have a match?
It might be possible, but we try to line up maximum children to get started, because we are giving you 3 chances. We want you to get started. You will have some learning from the first match. Then you will say, okay, second match, I want to improve this. I spoke only for 2 minutes. I had made my speech for 180 minutes, but I speak too fast. So you will also learn every time. That's what we enjoy, seeing the children learn. Yes, Nirvi, what are you asking?
Yeah. So I have to like go for camps at 19th. My mom spoke to the organization. They said they'll try and do it on 17th and 18th. So it won't happen on 19th, right? Because
Nirvi, we try to let you know the schedule upfront so that you are available. But any of these requests like this, there's a number, you know the number, and you know the email ID, just write over there. Because I can't do the discussion on this group, right? So they will address it.
okay,
But I'm telling you, all of you, please try to accommodate around the schedule. You understand, right? If I have to adjust one child, I'm just changing the schedule for 20 more, and I don't want to make these mistakes.
yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Nirvi, for understanding. Any other questions? Sure. Yes, Arush, if I see more questions on the group now, I will know that you guys did not ask here. Yes, Arush, ask me.
So, ma'am, I wanted to ask, what is the date when you will send this form? Because at that day, I could have some extra classes. I didn't get time.
Yeah, please try to adjust around your extra classes. Normally, the way you should keep in mind is we've kept all the motions or the matches after 4:30 to 8:30. Or I think your slots will be slightly earlier, so 4:30 to 6:37, because you are the youngest on the group. The rest of them are elder to you, right? But we've tried to make sure that you are back from school. Yes, Rutvi, tell me.
Ma'am, we are doing the topic. So for from where we can get some idea to get our topic, get a debate.
Sorry, Rutvi, what were you asking?
Ma'am, I was asking that for a debate topic, from where we can take ideas.
Okay. So just wait up. Nitiksha ma'am, are you listening to the question? She's just going to be addressing that. Right. So I just want to make sure that all of you just know what are we going in for, because the qualifiers are such an important phase, right? All of you must give it your best for those speeches, and you have 3 opportunities. So I just want to make sure you make that. And Nitiksha, I'll just hand it to you. Yes, or just tell me quickly.
Ma'am, will debate happen between 2 groups or 2 individuals?
That's a very good question. And the answer to that question, I'm going to encourage some other debater to answer it. Who's going to answer that question for OJS? Yes, Vivan.
Can I answer?
Yeah, Gaurang, go ahead.
So, like in the qualifiers that the matches that are going to happen from the 17th, there will be 1v1 matches. But if you qualify for your state, then there will be Asian parliamentary format in which it's 3v3, and also in the semis and finals.
Yeah. So the first one that you must keep in mind is it's between 2 individuals. Okay, that's the quick answer to your question. There is the one PDF I have circulated on the group so that you all know. You can read it as well at your own pace. It's a PDF document. It has got these answers, but it's good. It's good to ask. Yes, Abir, ask me away.
Ma'am, in the this you are telling the topics before, but in the real debate we will get the topic there. We will get before 1 to 3 days.
Abir, 4th to 6th grade category is my super favorite, and I want you to do your best, and that's why we end up releasing the topics 3 days prior. Okay, we don't do that for the 7th to 9th category. We give them 1 day prior, and for 10th to 12th we give them 3 hours prior. So on that Excel sheet that we will send you, your debate topics will be loaded. Okay, so give it your best. Ojas, Rutvi, are your hands not down, or you have another questions? Pratyush, go ahead.
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask that where will you send the event sheet to see the topic and everything?
Would somebody like to answer that? Yes, Anvesha.
Ma'am, all these details will be sent on the group through an Excel chart, and we can search from.
Yeah, everything on WhatsApp. We are all on the group. You must make sure that you are on there. Your parents are there. Whoever's closer to you is on there. Okay, good. So I just want to make sure everybody is understanding. That's why I'm encouraging you all to answer. Yes, Khushi, go ahead.
Now, the second speech, which is for 3 minutes, the second one, it's only for the cross questions, right? That one player with the one debater will ask questions to another and he will answer. Like it's only the cross questions.
Anybody wants to answer that? That's a tricky question. So Nitisha ma'am, I'm going to leave it back to you. Mahima, the motions are on the Excel sheet. Okay. So the Excel sheet will be shared with you after the training today. You will go into the Excel sheet and go and see against your name. I'm just showing this. I think a bunch of you just joined in later. So I'm just going to share this. And no, you're not doing questioning to the debater. You're doing your speeches, Khushi. And in your reply speeches, you can take that consideration into forward, but you're not doing questioning at all. You're doing speeches. So if I'm the first speaker and somebody is a second speaker, the second speaker is not asking the first speaker. The second speaker is making his speech against the motion, right?
Okay.
Got it, Khushi? Briefly, Nitisha ma'am, you can just touch over this when you are discussing it. Aryav. Arvay.
Ma'am, Aryav.
Okay, go ahead.
Ma'am, actually I joined late. Can you tell me what is motion?
Motion means the topic you're debating. Okay. Yes, Praditi?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, like, there will be teams to debate. So, will one person go and debate with another debater, or the whole team will discuss the speech and then the whole team will go?
No, right now I want you completely focused on qualifiers, which is 1:1. There is no team concept. Okay. When you make it to the team, when you are one of the top debaters who are making you the team, we will do a quick orientation again.
Okay.
Okay. Abhi ke liye we have to be super focused and we have to make it to the state team.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Varaj.
Ma'am, qualifiers round will be of 1v1.
Yes, it is 1:1. Yes, Varaj. Yes, Kavya.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, if my turn is on 19th to join for debating qualifiers round, so, ma'am, is there any need to join it on 17th and 18th?
You won't be able to join. Even if you come in, we won't put you in the debate rooms. So the quick answer also is that, we are not allowing you here to witness the debate. Like if it's my debate versus Nitisha ma'am, then only the judge is watching our debate. But when the state teams start debating, then we allow you to witness a match, right? So all of you will come into a waiting room when you come in for the debate, and then you will go to your individual debate rooms.
Ma'am, I'm not sure I might have missed this. My internet was lagging. Where will we get the link to join the debate?
It's all on the WhatsApp group. Any communication, I'm not going to use the email at all now. When I will only send your certificates much later.
It will be on the Excel sheet only. It will be on the Excel sheet only.
Everything will be on the Excel sheet. Okay. So, and I don't want reminders on the Excel sheet. Trust me, we have to do our audit and send it. So don't remind us. I want you to now focus on the session itself. So Nitisha ma'am is waiting to train you on how to debate well. I think that's the important session that she will do between today and tomorrow. So is it okay, Sayanthani? Can I just hand it over to her so that she can go ahead? Or quickly, last 2-3 questions. Sayanthani, go ahead, ask your question. Ranch, go ahead, ask your question.
Ma'am, it was said that today we will get our motion and other things. Ma'am, where we will get it?
Ranch, I'm not answering this question. This is the 7th time somebody is asking.
Ma'am, actually,
Actually, what?
Ma'am, are we going to join it?
Okay, I'm going to answer. Sayanthani, what is your question?
Ma'am, are we going to do it online or offline?
Online. Okay, I'm showing you one last time what the schedule will look like. All of you please see. On your WhatsApp group, we will send the schedule. You will please go over here, see your name and check your topic. So for example, I was giving the example of Vivan Garg, 17th October, 4:30 to 4:45. Do not be late. Otherwise it crashes everybody else's schedule. Be early 5 minutes, not late. Go to room number 2, 15 minutes. The motion is this house supports the promotion of Make in India through historical symbols like Khadi. Who's speaking for it? It's Vivan who's speaking for it. He's in grade 4. He's speaking against Jayan Chaudhary. He was in grade 4. Okay. So that's the answer to the question that you were asking, Khushi, that Vivan is giving a first speech. Jayant is doing the first speech. Then Vivan is replying to the points that Jayant has made. And similarly, Jayant is replying to the points Vivan has made. And the quick tip that I've given to everybody is a 3-minute speech is equal to 180 words. Make your speeches. That's why we're going to give you the topics today, but after the session, right? Yes, Rian.
Ma'am, I joined a little late. Sorry. How can I access the Excel sheet?
It'll be on the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Just wait for it. No reminders needed. Nitisha, with that, I'm just handing over the session to you. Thank you and all the best. Take it seriously. I do want to see majority of you on the state teams, okay?
Ma'am, I have a question.
All right, I think we can respond to the other questions as and when, like along with the training. So lower your hands for now. Let's just cover some bits of training as well. Maybe your questions will get answered in the process. And if they aren't, then of course I'm here to answer those. So shouldn't be a problem. Allow me to share my screen first. So today, the primary objective is to cover speeches, as in how to deliver good speeches and how can you ensure that you are able to deliver effectively? So as in how can you analyze your arguments well within a very short time period, because 3 minutes isn't a lot when you're speaking. So those are things that we're going to cover. But what I want to begin with essentially is this: what is a motion? How is a motion presented? And what is burden with reference to motion? So there are different types of motions, and different types have different methods of being approached. Now, what does this mean? Simply put, this is just this is for you to have an idea of how the different motions that you're going to get starting today are going to look like. So THR is one motion. If you look at these are all short forms, because saying this house over and over again becomes a bit tiring. So we try to ease the process for ourselves. So TH stands for this house. So this house, THR is this house regrets. THBD is this house believes that. THS is this house supports. THO is this house opposes. TH as somebody is called an actor motion. In these kinds of motions where you have this house as someone, for example, this house as the prime minister of a developing country, or this house as Marvel maybe, or this house as any organization or individual would do something. So this is an actor motion. What does this mean? I have become an actor, and then as that actor, I have to debate in this motion. So if I was the prime minister of a developing country, how would I think about the motion that is being presented to us, which is a problem statement, right? THR is then this house regrets. What does this house regrets mean? That there is something in the, sorry, what?
Can I give an example?
I will shortly give you examples as well. This is just the introduction of what types mean within motions. So THR is this house regrets, which means that if this kind of a motion comes at all, for example, this house regrets X, and X could be anything. It's a variable, right? So if I say THR, this house regrets X, then if I'm the government side, then I will regret X. And what does regret mean? I am displeased by the existence of something. I'm not entirely happy with the existence of something. I think things should be changed and it shouldn't be the way it is. That's why I regret it. So as the government member, I regret it then. But this house supports is almost the opposite, where you go ahead and say that this house supports X if you are the government side. So the motions remain by and large similar. The only thing that changes is that if it is put like this, as in this house regrets, then it is the government member who says that they are disappointed with what is being proposed. Whereas if it's a this house supports motion, then it becomes the government member who is supporting something, whereas it's the opposition who is now regretting that thing, right? So who does what changes according to what type of a motion it is. Now, THBT is just simply this house believes that, for example, this house believes that online education is better than offline education. So there, of course, the government side would say this, yeah, that yes, online education is better, and the opposition will say that no, offline education has its perks as well, and that these perks or these benefits outweigh the benefits from the online education. So that's why we think offline education is a win-win, whereas online education might not be. Then you go ahead and talk about this house supports and this house opposes. I've already told you, when you support something, when the motion is put like this, as in this house supports something, then the government side or the person going for the motion will support that thing. Whereas the opposition will not support it, as in be against it, right? And then this house opposes, the responsibilities change. The burden on government is to now oppose something, whereas the opposition might choose to support that thing that you're opposing. This will become clearer with the help of examples, but do you have any immediate doubts with reference to what I just said?
I didn't understand the last one. This house as somebody. I didn't understand that part.
This house has, okay. So this is called an actor motion. Now, oftentimes what happens is that when you're given a motion, there's going to be some people involved when you discuss in if you when you present arguments on that motion. For example, take any motion. This house believes that online education is better than offline education. So even though I don't mention a person in the motion, the debate is definitely about people, right? Because online education benefits or doesn't benefit at the end of the day, the people, right? So the people are the important stakeholders here, particularly students, because education is primarily for students if we're talking of it at school level. But otherwise also, like student people who are still in there, who still pursuing academics, right? So in that sense, you already have a person that you know you need to target in order to move forward with this motion. Now, in some motions, it's particularly stated who the person, the Prime Minister of India, would do something, could be anything, right? Now, I know that I have to debate this motion, but also as the Prime Minister of India. So, in the motion, you are as, and so you always work in their interest. So, if it's the Prime Minister that who I'm debating as, then I'm going to work in the Prime Minister's interest, right? Because a Prime Minister, if they were debating themselves, would not go against their self-interest or national interest or whatever the priorities are. So this is about defending the person that you are told to be. Does that make sense? Whose question was it?
Mine. I think I got it now.
Okay, okay. Arush, your question, please.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I didn't catch the full form of THBT.
THBT is this house believes that.
Okay, ma'am. This house believes that. Okay.
Yeah, and it could be anything. So this house believes that this is better than that. This house believes that this should be done like that. Ruthvi?
Ma'am, I didn't understand TH.
You didn't understand what? You muted.
Ma'am, the full form of TH was?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Repeat your question, please.
Ma'am, he's asking the full form of TH.
The full form of THR?
No, ma'am, just TH, not THR.
Oh, TH, this house. The full form for this that is this house. Pratyush, question?
Ma'am, I can't understand this third point.
I haven't gotten to the third point yet. Probably that's why. So whatever I explained, is that clear so far?
Oh.
All right, let's move ahead then. So the second point says that every motion starts with this house, which is TH in short. This house is the actor who does something, is what is written in the brackets. Now, what does this mean? When I am being told that this house believes that we will do something, or this house regrets something, or this house opposes something, why are we saying this house at all is the obvious question that you must have, like all of you, right? Ruth, will lower your hand because then I'm under the impression that people have doubts. So when you're being told that this house would do something, then this house becomes the actor who is going to do something. So you are debating as whatever, in whichever capacity you're debating, and whichever actor you are playing or thinking on behalf of becomes this house. I will give you an example to simplify this. So if I'm saying this house will pay teachers according to their children's performance in exams. Okay, now what happens in such motions is that we don't know who is going to pay teachers, right? Who will increase their salary if the students do well, who will cut from their salary if the students do not do well, who after all is this person who is actually going to go ahead and take this initiative. So that we have to guess as debaters about who the best stakeholder could be. Maybe the government, right? If we're talking about public schools. So, for example, if we say that, oh, this house would increase the salaries of uh, teachers whose students have been performing well consistently in public schools. This means that in public schools, the government will push this initiative in order to awaken a sense of responsibility within teachers, and whereby they will be driven to do better and teach the children better, because in government schools there's a likelihood of teachers not performing to the best of their ability because they don't have a big monetary incentive. So if you give them that monetary incentive, they're likely to do well, right? So now in this case, I have presumed that the house is actually the government who will be taking this initiative, because who else can pay a teacher better, right? Or who else can introduce such a policy which will work in the public spaces or like the public schools? It could be the government potentially.
Excuse me, ma'am, could you repeat the last part? Your voice is
Now,
loud.
but if you say this house will my voice is lagging.
Yes, ma'am, it is lagging a lot.
Are you all unable to hear me?
No, ma'am, it's not lagging.
Okay.
It's
Ma'am, it is
perfectly
lagging.
audible.
Yes,
Okay, it's
ma'am.
okay.
It's lagging.
Ma'am, it's lagging.
I got it. I
Excuse,
got it. It's lagging. Okay, I got it. I'm going to fix this. Wait.
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, actually, one of my friend Ranch is messaging me to ma'am to tell you that please let him in.
I don't see anybody in the waiting room.
Ma'am, he's saying that he's
You
in the
just
waiting room.
Let me just see.
Ma'am, I am in. You just took me in.
Okay, cool. I am not the host. Some other person. Yeah, okay. So, is this better? Am I audible now perfectly?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So now, if you look at the third point, it says when motions are set, they are in most instances weighed and can be debated equally well from both the sides. Now, this is important for you to understand. Any motion that you're going to get in this tournament is going to be a motion which can be debated from both the sides, be it for or against. This means that nobody, and when I say nobody, absolutely nobody, should come up with this problem that, oh, this motion cannot be debated from the opposition side. How can I debate against khadi, or how can I debate in favor of khadi? Because the truth is that if there is a motion that's been set for you, it's probably debatable. It's not probably, it's certainly debatable, because it can be debated from both sides, because there are both sides to this particular motion which are reasonably justified insofar as you logically create some argumentation around it. Do you
Ma'am, it won't be biased, right? The motions.
It wouldn't, no, they wouldn't be government heavy or opposition heavy. These are balanced motions. Sometimes you just have to try harder in order to get to a certain argument so that you can defend your side. But that mostly happens because maybe you don't inherently have any faith in that particular side. For example, we have been taught since very early on in our since like in our formative years also, that during during the struggle for independence, khadi was very important. Khadi is made in India. It's about national pride and this and that. But So maybe all of us are very respectful towards khadi, which we should be, because it's made in India and it has some symbolic value for us as a country. But you also have to consider what can be the downside to khadi, right? If you are opposition. So some people say that, oh, khadi has become very, it's become very expensive, which means that it's not as easily accessible as it was when people used to use charkhas and like the Gandhian symbols and everything. Today, Gandhi has a different story. I'm sorry, the Khadi has a different story. In which case, you have to understand Khadi as a modern symbol. Where does it stand today in 2022? Okay, it had value in 1947, and maybe it still does. But is it okay for us to say that, oh, everybody should use Khadi because it's a make in India product and this and that? Maybe it's too expensive for some people to afford. If you look at how Khadi Bandar or any other places which are known for their fabrics and like Indian ethnic fabrics, you will see that they are very costly, which means not everybody can afford it, and it's easier for them to go purchase from like other perhaps Western brands like H&M, etc. So that's what
Excuse
the
me,
debate
ma'am.
is about. Yeah, allow me to complete. Allow me to complete. So that's what the debate is about. That's how you get to certain argumentation. So if you think you have entered a mental block where you can't think of an argument, it's probably because you believe too much in the other side. So maybe try to just not, I'm not saying don't stop believing in things you already believe in, but try to look at things from a different perspective as well, just for the sake of the debate if it has to be. Yes, please.
Ma'am, I want to say that I've joined late. So can you tell what is the topic for the debate?
It'll be told separately through an Excel sheet, which will be circulated shortly. So you haven't really missed out on
And the
any
date
special.
also, it would be sent in this group only that you have created.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now the fourth point says that the weightage is not determined by the facts you retain in your speech, but the logic with which you approach, dissect, and defend your side. Stance is your side, government, opposition, that. So about the weightage then, your whatever what is weightage, as in how, on what metric am I being marked? What is it that is being used to mark? What is it that the adjudicators see in my speech in order to mark me accordingly? I think all of you should know that it's three parameters that are being used. One is matter, the other one is manner, and the last one is method. So matter is definitely the content you are able to come up with. But in content, please be mindful of this. It's not just about who has done better research. It's not about who has better statistics either. It's more about who has been able to research on the topic and then get to their own arguments and originally put them. That's something that I also put a lot of emphasis on in yesterday's session. So I'm not going to expend a lot of time discussing this over again. But in content, I don't necessarily mean that you have to research and copy paste from the internet. I mean, go research, because you need to understand several things as to how khadi is perceived today, how khadi has changed, what khadi was a symbol, how people perceive it today, all of that. But the argument has to be your own to the extent that it can be. If you get stuck somewhere, refer to the internet, but not for the arguments, only for some hints and clues through which you can develop your own original thoughts. All right. So in that case, this is what will be determined within matter, but within method, which is the other parameter on which you marked, it's about how you structure your speech. Are you just jumping from point to point without finishing any of the points? Are you ensuring that your arguments are well analyzed, which means you just don't throw around claims that you think of as self explanatory? Do you also tell me why you are making the claim you are making? Do you also give me legitimate examples? All of those things determine the method that you're employing. So maybe you have great points, but if you're not analyzing them, I think your method is falling short there, because you don't know how to pursue an argument and see it through. That's what will be considered within method then. And I will tell you what a feasible method can be, but you don't have to stick to my method. It's just like a suggestion and not necessarily a prescription of how the method can be explored. Now, on the third parameter, then, which is manner. So, manner is equally important, but for manner, you have to do certain very obvious and like tangible things, like be on camera. Don't try to shy away from that, because it's going to directly impact your manner. If there is another person who has been on camera, there's a lot I can tell about this other person because they were on camera, such as them not reading off a paper. But if you're not on camera for whatever reasons, I still have my doubts about you reading from a paper, and probably that's why shying away from the camera. So as an adjudicator or a judge, I am unlikely to give you high mark, like a nice score, even if I think your speech is good, because I don't know if you're reading it off a page. So be on camera. Secondly, don't read your entire speech. I mean, to refer to a page or refer to your notes, because yes, we tend to forget under performance pressure certain points you were going to make, is okay. But to just cling to that paper so much so that you never make eye contact with the adjudicators or never look up to the screen is just plainly wrong, and it's going to reflect in your speaks and scores. All right. So with that, I hope there's some clarity on what are some issues that you should try to not, I mean, some issues that might occur and how you can avoid them, and what is the best way to go ahead and debate so that you get a score. Like if you are able to maximize this, the outcome of from this one opportunity that you're being given. All right. On speaker role fulfillment, then. Now, what is speaker role fulfillment, first of all? Different speakers have different responsibilities according to the motion they are debating on and according to the side that they have been given. For example, as a member who is going from for the government side, which is also called the proposition, government, affirmative, for the motion, call it whatever, from that side, then my responsibility with reference to the motion is different from the opposition member, obviously. If Because if I'm supporting something, then the other person is opposing that thing, and if I'm regretting something, then the other side is perhaps supporting that thing, right? So that's how responsibility is realized. Which side am I supposed to debate from? And accordingly I do my research. So if I have to support something, I wouldn't go to the internet looking for things that will help me not support that thing, right? Because how does that help me at the end of the day? I want to look for data, and I only want to find facts that are going to help me support this thing, say X. So if I have to support X, I'm going to look for all the good things about X on the internet. That's how you realize your responsibility first, your burden first, and then you go into research, and also like for framing of the speeches, right? So that's one thing. This is what speaker role fulfillment refers to. What am I supposed to do as a speaker? How am I supposed to construct effective speeches? So, if you look at the government member for the motion speech, what it's supposed to include is one, defining the terms in the motion. Now, this shouldn't take a lot of your time. Just because I say that you have to define the terms in the motion, don't just pick each and every term in the motion and try to define it. It's going to take all of your 3 minutes. What you want to do is you want to find the important terms in the motion. For example, in some motions, there's mention of something that's intrinsically Indian, for example, khadi, right? So maybe not everybody knows about khadi like you do, or perhaps people have different perceptions about khadi. Some people might think that, oh, it's a national symbol. Some others might think that, no, it's an expensive symbol today, which does not stand for the poor. It excludes the poor. So what do you think of khadi, right? Is important for you to clarify. And this is what defining the term means, only the important terms. And this shouldn't take more than 30 seconds. This shouldn't take all of your time. I mean, defining is only the tip of the iceberg. The most important thing is the arguments. But to argue, you also have to explain where you come from, what you think about this particular term, and why you think so about that. Now, the second thing is explain your burden and the other sides. Now, this is something that you can skip, because this is also this becomes a bit problematic given the time constraint. But burden is, again, you have to at least realize your burden. You don't have to tell the judges what it is, but at least realize that your burden is actually to either support something or not support something, or whatever your burden is. I told you how to identify burden, right? That's how. So you have to keep that in mind, because accordingly you research and accordingly you formulate your speeches. If you do that without realizing your responsibility, then maybe you're going to come up with the wrong points. Okay, now the third thing is that you have to explain the context of the debate. Now, in other tournaments, it would be very difficult explaining the contexts, because sometimes you are not given the context in the first place. Do you understand? So I am not given, I mean, what is context? Context is just basically where is this debate happening? So if I say this house prefers online education over offline education, Where is this debate happening? Like, prefer online education over offline education where? In India, in a country like America? Or is it that we're talking about the globe in general after the pandemic? What are we doing, right? Those are important things for you to answer. So where is this debate happening? But because the theme is resurgent India, most of our debates are going to happen in India only. So you don't have to worry so much about the context. Just remember that if the other side is talking a lot about other countries and not so much about India, then you know that they don't realize that the context is primarily India for this particular tournament because the theme is such. So you refer to other countries and you take examples, but only to explain the situations in India. I don't think you're going to get a motion where the other countries become significantly more prominent in the debate than India has to be. All right. The next thing then is the reply speeches. Forget about the fourth point. That's a bit difficult. It's not for you. It's for the senior category. You look at the last point, the fifth point about reply speeches. This remains the same from both government and opposition. Just give me 1 second. Sorry. So in the reply speeches, you are supposed to go ahead and answer some questions. Now, this does not mean again that you have to imperatively, compulsorily answer these questions. It's just for you to get an idea of what goes into the reply speech. And if you have to make the reply speech on the spot because you don't know what the other side is going to say beforehand, then maybe you can try answering these questions and it will by default give you a good reply speech. So the first thing about a reply speech is that it has to compare the two cases, which means that if I have given some arguments and there is the other side that has given some arguments, then I'm going to compare both the sides' cases and then prove how my side is still better. That's what a reply speech is for. A reply speech is not for you to repeat the same thing that you said in the first speech, but in a different manner. Or just keep, I mean, there is a lot of repetition that happens for whatever reasons in speeches. That is not what you want. What you want is that you want to compare both the cases. So if your first speech was more about what you think about the motion from your side, the second speech is going to be about a comparison that you draw, and then finally conclude that look, we still win this debate because we are able to rebut the points that the other side said, and so the points from my first speech still stand tall and make us win this debate, right? So that's what you do in the reply speech in general. There are some questions that you can start with answering. One, what is the purpose of the debate? So first of all, you want to clarify in the reply speech. Panel, both the sides have concluded their first speeches, but what was the purpose of this debate after all? What, for example, online education over offline education. Now, okay, one side is saying online education over offline education, and there's another side saying offline education over online education. But what is the end goal? To make education and learning, to make learning better, right? To make the experience more fruitful and wholesome for the students. That's the purpose of the debate, right? Who is able to give students a better space to study in? Is it the offline space or the online space that students will be able to appreciate more, that parents will be able to appreciate more, or that teachers will be able to appreciate more? So it is about the welfare of the students, teachers, and parents. That's the purpose of the debate. Maybe who is able to provide that is the person is going to determine who is going to win the debate. So if I am able to prove that online education will make the lives of teachers, parents, and students better, then I will win this debate. But if opposition proves that offline is better in this regard, then opposition takes the debate. Now, secondly, why am I proposing this over that? What does this mean? This is a vague question, but I'll try to contextualize this. Now, in every debate, there is a conflict. I prefer something, and the other side is saying something else. I take both of the things, right? So if I say that I want X to be the method of teaching, and the other side says that no, we want Y to be the method of teaching, I compare both X and Y, and then I talk about why I prefer X over Y, despite opposition saying that Y is better. Again, comparison, right? How do you compare? Why am I proposing what I'm proposing? Is there any exclusive benefit that comes out of what I am saying? Is there something that I can bring to the table which the other side simply cannot? Those kind of questions, right? Now, on to the opposition member speech, then, the first speech and what it is supposed to include. It's very similar to the government member speech. If government goes ahead and defines the terms in the motion, the opposition members can counter define. What is counter define? For example, the government side says that, oh, khadi is a symbol of national pride, and that's why we think it's okay for us to promote make in India through such historical symbols. But opposition might want to differ. They might say, no, khadi is not a symbol of national pride anymore. It is an elitist symbol which only ascribes to the rich people who can actually afford it. So we need to change our outlook, because as society, time changes, societies do too, and their symbols do too. So it's okay for us to think of it differently. Now, here the opposition did not agree with the government. So sometimes it's okay for you to make it clear that, look, we don't agree with the definitions that you're giving. But sometimes you can also agree. You can say, okay, whatever the government is saying is fine, but our arguments are different. But on definitions, we stand on the same ground. We think it's okay for them to define it the way they're defining. Secondly, after you have counter defined, you can go ahead and present your arguments as opposition, right? So what are your arguments against the case? Basically, whatever you prepared from home can come in after counter definition. Then you rebut. What is rebuttal? Just whatever the government side said, you keep that in mind and try to come up with responses to that, right? Responses to that. And then again, the reply speech is similar. Even you compare the two cases. So it doesn't matter which side you're giving the reply from, you have to make comparisons. You have to weigh the arguments from one side to the arguments from the other side, and then explain why you have won the debate. So think of the reply speech as, so in the reply speech, you can think of yourself as the judge. How would a judge look at this debate? But then you are a biased judge, which means that you will not judge fairly. You will think about positive sides from your case and judge according to those. So your reply speech could also be the feedback that a judge would be giving, but in such a situation, the judge is biased, because as in you are giving a verdict, but from with more importance to your own side, right? So you highlight that portion of the debate more, whichever you want to win through. Are there any doubts with respect to what I have said so far?
Yes, ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I want to say that like I am a high-pitched guy. I shout very much. I am a kind of angry person. So if in the debates at some point I shout or my voice is a high pitch, so can I be disqualified for that?
You can't be, I mean, you won't be disqualified if you aren't intentionally hurting somebody's sentiments. The most important thing is for you to be respectfully conducting yourself. But if you end up becoming very aggressive because that's how you are in general, first of all, try not to do that, because it can be intimidating for the other person. You don't want to intimidate them through how you're speaking. You can intimidate them through the quality of your content, maybe. But it's advised that you remain calm and composed. But if you tend to be an aggressive person, not aggressive, but like a loud person, it's okay. And if you are fast paced, that's also okay. But try to be like mindful of other people's space as well.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have a doubt. Ma'am?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So my doubt is that if we want to practice about the debate, how can we practice at our homes?
Okay, so at your place, how you can practice for this particular tournament is that first start reading up. Okay, so today onwards, you will get the motions. So pick the motion, think about the motion from all the directions, because you don't go to the internet immediately as soon as you receive the motion. That's the wrong thing to do. For one day, for example, if you get the motion today, at least today, sit with the motion and see what you can think of without the help of the internet. So that will allow you to understand how much you know about the motion. Now, there might be some certain things that you have no idea about. For that, you can refer to the internet. For that, you can go to the internet and perhaps solve certain issues which you are having with the motion. Again, come back to your own personal space and think about the arguments after you have incorporated the information that you have gleaned from the internet. Okay. And then how you can, yeah.
And ma'am, if I want to, if I want like a demo on how the debate can be, can I practice with my family members by giving us a topic like you said to us, what is better, online studying or offline? Can I do like that as well?
Yeah, so like once you are given the topic, maybe what you can do is that you can discuss the arguments with your parents. So you can say that I'm going to give you an argument, and you can tell your mother or father, whoever is close to you, like whoever is willing to participate with you and help you get better. Just ask them to rebut your points. Do you understand? So I'm going to give you this point. Can you throw around some responses? So this will give you a fair idea of what the other side is going to say. So you can beforehand have some responses to the potential arguments that the other side will raise.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Ruthvi?
Ma'am, from where we can get ideas of our debate?
So you can go to the internet. There's a lot of sources which I also mentioned yesterday, and there's
No, ma'am, any specific website?
there's no specific website as such. HelloMotions.com is one site where there's a lot of motions, but on India, like specifically on India, you wouldn't find a lot of motions because these are international tournaments happening, or even when they're happening in India, they don't necessarily focus on India. Just because it's our theme this time, that's why we are focusing so much and so minutely on India. So the best way to go about this is to look at the motion and is to study about Indian culture as much as you can from the internet. There's no other way of going about this. Khushi?
Ma'am, I just want to clarify one point real quick. Like in the second speech, we just have to answer the question, answer the particular thing which was asked by our opponent, right?
In the reply, okay, you might respond to certain doubts that the proposition that the other side has colored the imagination of the judges with, but you can also raise your own questions, right? You can also say how where the other side is lacking. So the reply speech is to compare. That's what I'm saying. Comparison can mean you want to focus on some issues that the other side has raised with your case, but you could also choose to focus on certain things that the other side has been going wrong with in their own case.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Because otherwise we'd be concluding. Tomorrow we will do rebuttals and how to go about rebutting. Rian, Khushi, lower your hand if your question is answered.
Ma'am, earlier you said that we should only research on the part of the motion, the half of the motion that benefits us. But ma'am, if ma'am the part of the motion that we support. But ma'am, if we what if we prepare preemptive rebuttals by also checking out the other side and some of their major points?
That's good for you to do. I mean, there is no downside to that. If you choose to preemptively think about what the other side might say and think of rebuttals, then your reply speech will also be mostly ready beforehand. But even if you can't come up, I mean, that's an additional thing that you can choose to do, but also not do if you don't want to. So think about what the other side is going to say. It always helps. That's why I told Arush also, I think, when he asked how to prepare, right? So you have to definitely think about what the other side might say, because otherwise you won't be able to see the strength of your own arguments. Vivan?
Now I was asking that our speeches should always start from a th, like a thr or thbt. Any of those, the speech should always start from that.
Not the speech, only the motion starts like that. You don't even have to mention the motion in the speech because you have only 3 minutes. And everybody knows the motion, right? Even the judges know the motion. So why are you repeating it? You can just say, panel, I'm the person going for the motion. And that's it. You don't even have to say what the motion is.
And you just start the speech normally.
Yes, yeah, you can just say, I am this and that.
You don't have to tell thr or something. You don't have to tell the motion or your name.
You don't have to tell your name, your school, your class, nothing, because that ends up wasting your time.
Yeah, okay.
All right, who else? Vivan can lower his hand so that I'm clear on who has a question. Who does not.
Mama, sir, I have a question.
Yeah, ma'am was right. Yeah.
Is that like that if we qualify one round, then only we can go to the second round?
No, you will be allowed to debate in the 3 rounds, and then according to how you perform in these 3 rounds, you will be proceeding or not proceeding. So 3 rounds, everybody is going to debate. Even if you're losing all the rounds, you will still debate all of those.
Okay, sir.
Okay, next question.